We are now on Instagram. What's up, Uncle Tony? Hey, he heard me. Impressive.
Say Uncle Tony.
Uncle Tony. What's going on, Mitch?
What is up, guys? Another Tech Tuesday. Welcome back. We're actually in the race shop today. We have a very special guest from High Lifter. So we'll pass it on over to Justin. We'll go from there.
Hey guys, how's it going? You are correct, Mitch. We do have an excellent guest today, but before I get to that introduction, I want to say I feel very, very bad for Steve because Steve's not here today. He's at home passing kidney stones, and I know this might be inappropriate, but he just shared with me one that he just pissed out right 10 seconds ago.
Man, if that was gold, he could be taking a nice vacation.
It is a nugget, I think. He might be panning for gold in the wrong place. I feel bad for you, Steve. Hurry up and get back. But yes, today's interview day. It's Tech Tuesday, and our technical stuff is going to be all about High Lifter. So part of the High Lifter family that we have in here with us today is Scott Smith. Scott?
Hey everybody.
Scott from High Lifter. You're in town actually having a whole bunch of fun, doing a little bit of riding, a little bit of family stuff, seeing some relatives, right?
Yeah, we got a workcation going on. We've been out to Mormon Lake, we've rode up to Cherry Creek, about to head to Raleigh on the Rocks, and that's been our weekends. And during the week we've been working, seeing some family, and keeping the fires burning at High Lifter back home.
So I'm going to give you a ton of crap about mud because we don't have any around here. Do you feel like you're missing something, a little homesick, not having any mud on any of your rides?
Negative. You know, I grew up in the mud, you know, Louisiana, and Rachel and I started coming out here, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, and we fell in love with out west. Like, I finally built a car, and I've threatened my entire family. I said, if any of you get this car muddy, you will die. So we love it out here, and I love mud riding still, but you know, if I'm in a RZR, I'm having fun.
That's pretty awesome. So let's get right into it. Everybody, the obvious questions, we'll go with those first.
Before we get started, B. Snyder wants to say, hi, Scott. B. Snyder.
What up, B. Snyder?
Triple
How you
digits
doing?
said Scott has some sick hair flow as well.
Yes,
I like
he
your hair.
does.
Yeah.
There's only one person in the shop that might rival him, and it's Kraus at the moment. But yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, I'm famous for my hair. I'll be honest with you. Out west, they call me Fabio Rojo. Thank you, Blake Vanderloo, for that, by the way. Little
like,
Fabio Rojo.
You got some pretty sweet nicknames, Big Papa.
Yeah. Big Papa. At home, I'm Big Papa.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 or 3 Scotts in the shop, and it's like, let's just clear this up. I'm Big Papa. Everybody else is Scott.
So Big Papa, we kind of know that you had started everything in the late 90s, right?
Yep, 96.
96, so you're 25 years in.
A long 25, but a fast 25.
Yeah, and I heard a few rumors as to when I was actually lucky enough to take a tour of the shop in Shreveport a few weeks back, but at the Mud National event.
Yeah.
Which was really awesome. It's an amazing place. If you guys gave tours, I think you should. You probably charge for it. But there's a lot going on over there, and there's a lot of people over there, and everybody's just welding like crazy and designing like crazy. So how did you in late 90s start this and get to the point where you're at today with 80, 100 people probably would be my guess when I was there?
Yeah, probably closer to 110 right now.
Oh yeah, see that's a ton of people, man.
You know, it was really, it was one of those starts that just kind of happened. I've been a workaholic since I was 13. I started a grass cutting company and, you know, this, that, and the other. But for High Lifter, it was actually my dad that had the idea. He's like, he had a Honda 400 with like 4 inches of ground clearance, and Interco came out with a 26-inch Super Swamper tire. And he's like, son, I need to put these tires on my four-wheeler. You know, that's kind of how I started. I was like, okay. I mean, I was a general contractor at the time, but I'm a shade tree mechanic, you know. I said, I can do that. So I got out there, cobbled some stuff together, welded it on, and he was able to put 26-inch Super Swampers on a Honda 400 back in 96. And it was like the greatest thing since sliced bread, you know, for mud riding guys. And he's like, I think we can sell this. I was like, well, you can't sell a weld-on kit because the average guy ain't gonna do that. So we set out to designing a bolt-on kit, and that's what we did. And in the early days, I actually worked all day in construction, came home, got a 12-pack of Heineken, and started making parts. All right. Okay, let's get real. We know what these parts look like, right? It's like all the straight edges look like this, and it was quickly learned that I'm a really good idea guy and a terrible production guy. Like, I have no business in production whatsoever. So I started contracting out with machine shops and called Dirt Wheels up and said, look, I got something y'all need to see. Dennis Ketchup Cox, OG of Dirt Wheels, called him up on the phone and said, you need to come see this. He said, well, just send me one. No, not going to do it. Not letting this baby out of my control. So he got on the plane, flew to Louisiana, and we spent 3 days riding in the mud with lift kits and mud tires, and he just did an amazing spread. And that's kind of where everybody learned about this. And here we are 25 years later doing some stuff that in my wildest dreams I wouldn't have dreamed of. But that was the start. Dad wanted one, I made it. I conned Dirt Wheels into coming out and writing an article about it, and that pretty much let the world know, and here we are.
And I walked through the fab building when I was over there, and there's welding station upon welding station next to 20 other welding stations, CNCs that are notching, coping, cutting, machining parts for like ball joint press and ends, and blue lights, guys welding all day long. That's pretty far stretch from the garage and one handmade kit.
It's a long way, and actually all those welding stations, we run 2 shifts. So every welding station you saw running that day, they all were occupied that night running again. It's just trying to keep up with the fun stuff that we're putting out. And it kind of sounds a little fun and glamorous. It's like we started, we had this great idea, and you got to keep in mind we had 25 years of hell in the middle, all that kind of stuff. But I just like talking about the fun part.
So I think a lot of people want to know about some of the hard parts, though. So I personally like to learn from people about this kind of stuff. Where do you think was the hardest place in that 25 years between 2 guys in the garage and 110 people in welding stations on 2 shifts? So was it 5 guys, 20 guys? Where was the roughest place to try and get past in the growth?
30 guys.
30 guys.
30 guys. Up to 30, we were all family, and we're still family. I mean, High Lifter is one big family, but at 30, you're really close to everybody. You know everything about everybody, and the amount of money it takes to keep a business operating is a lot, but it's not overwhelming. And when you get past 30, there was some real challenges. I'll tell you a story real quick. I was 1.5 guys. So in the construction company, which was my day job, 40, 50 hours a week, when I started High Lifter, I bought an Office Depot phone system that had 2 lines. And so when it rang, if line 1 rang, it was a construction company, Smith Martin Builders, with my partner Greg Martin. And if line 2 rang, it was High Lifter products. That's how sophisticated we were. We had little sticky notes too, so we wouldn't get it wrong. So we just started to have some stuff come up, and I needed $30,000 to do something. So I go down to the bank, and the construction company's only 3 or 4 years old, so we're still fledgling at this point, right? And I go down to the bank, $30,000. That's all I wanted, And the banker's like, I don't think so. This does not seem like a good bet for us. And so that was a struggle, being funded out of your hip pocket, living on credit cards and all that. And then I later ran into that same banker. It was probably 10 years later, and I was like, I kind of had one of those, what was that movie with Julia Roberts? Pretty Woman. Big mistake, huge mistake, So, I kind of had that thing go on, but it's been fun the whole time. But God, there's been challenges.
Through those challenges and the fun parts too, then how did you guys decide what the next products were you're going to do? First it was a lift kit, right? But You know, how about this? Start with this. What are the top 3 things that you guys are currently selling and making, and how did you get to where you started building those?
All right. Well, it starts with a lift kit, right? It actually didn't even start with a full lift kit. It started with a front lift kit because Honda's had solid rear axles, and it didn't affect your ground clearance at all. You know, it did control some tire size. So lift kits were right off the bat, and we ran with those. And I'm pretty much an overachiever to the max. So immediately I wanted mud tires, and the cool thing about our Outlaw tire is my dad literally drew this at the kitchen table on a sheet of paper freehand. That's how we got started into tires. And you know, from there we partnered with Gateway on the Outlaw tire for the first, I don't know, 5 or 7, 8 years, I don't know, something like that. And then from there really wasn't like a big second at the time. It was just like all kind of variety of stuff. And now I would say lift kits are still, they're bread and butter. I mean, there's other companies that sell lift kits, but High Lifter has by far the deepest product line of bracket lifts there is. We have the most models. We stay current with them, and it's still bread and butter for us. Now portals, we've got a line of portals that give people another option for other stuff out there. And they're bulletproof. When I tell you they're bulletproof, I mean, these things are so amazing. We took everything that everybody did with portals and threw it in the trash can. Literally threw it in the trash can and said, we're going to start from scratch. And we're going to make this son of a gun the best portal we can make. And that's what we did. And now, you know, it's hard to keep up with sales because these things are just bulletproof. So tires, portals, and lift kits. That's the big deal.
And now that things are at where they are now, you're pretty much just grabbing the new model, whatever it is, and trying to make sure everything is developed for that as fast as you can.
Yeah, and that's tough because, you know, back in the day when I started, I don't know what it would be like to start an off-road company today because there's a jillion models. You know, you go through Can-Am and Polaris and Honda and Kawasaki, and it's like, holy crap, there's just hundreds and hundreds of models. And now the fitment, back in the day when we started, okay, it was a four-wheeler. And it stayed for 5 years, you know, before it changed. And now you got an X model, an R model, an XYZ model, you know, and it's like all the same unit, and none of it fits on the suspension. And it's tough. I imagine you guys feel the same way with the shock packages. You got a Razor, and you got all these different shock packages that y'all are having to do.
Walker, Fox, a Bypass, or Dynamics. Same thing you run into, but I bet you that ours is probably simpler than dealing with the suspension manufacturing and modification part of it because of the model changes you've got to.
Well, the other thing that gets us, we also do radiator relocate kits. Guess what? Same issue. Does it have power steering? Because how does power steering affect the snorkel? Well, that's where our pipe used to go, right where that power steering unit is. And our snorkels, you know, all that stuff. You know, everything is, there's just so many. We have a couple of guys at the shop. One, Charles Singleton, he's kind of our guru of what we call pencil whipping it. So Charles will get on microfiche and he will literally study every part number of where we're at to see, will this work? Because there's so many models to get in, you can't get all the models in. There's just, it's not humanly possible with our footprint in our building. So Charles will study that stuff and he'll get it right 99% of the time. It's amazing. He can dig through microfiche and tell you if something's going to fit before we ever get one in.
So speaking of pencil whipping it, that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
I need to get Chase on like camera whipping it or something.
Yeah.
Something a little better than what he's doing right now. But how many guys do you have over in the R&D facility? Because I toured it, and there's a lot of people that are just drawing on CAD, new products on CAD, fixturing in CAD, and then the area where the guys are actually putting it on is just a whole other section. But you've got quite a bit.
You know, I hadn't done a count in a while, but gosh, I bet there's 16 or 18 guys in R&D. And what's really cool about R&D is they take it from concept to mock-up to engineering, and it doesn't leave R&D until every fixture is designed, drawn, and made and validated before it moves over. So those guys own that whole piece of the pie before it goes to shelf, and it's an amazing team. My brother Brian Smith, Charles Singleton, they run that area, and they kick ass.
One of the things that I thought was so cool and interesting was how you even got connected to and with Polaris. I mean, obviously, so how about this? Describe your relationship with Polaris and how tight that is and what you guys work with together, and then tell everybody how that even started.
Yeah. I love working with Polaris. They have the most incredible dynamic team. We've been with them for, 13, 14 years, and I feel like now we're as tight as we were, 13, 14 years ago, probably tighter. There's a lot of old guard up there that we kind of know each other's bodies are buried, so to speak, and so it's a lot of fun. But the way that came down is probably 14 years ago, we were in a relationship with Yamaha doing some really fun stuff. And unfortunately, there's a lot of boneheads out there, Justin. There are. And you know what? These boneheads, they turn shit over and they crash, and it needs to be somebody else's fault.
Are you talking about Matt right now? I mean, he's standing right here.
Yeah, I don't even know Matt. I just felt like he's a flipper. I just had a feeling.
When we go dooning around in Glamis, and we're in a pretty good or fast group of dune guys, and whoever flipped their car over last has to wear the flipper flag, and the flipper flag is literally a flag, a flipper like from the TV show.
Yeah.
But flipper's upside down, and have to wear that flag until the next guy flips and takes the flag.
Man, that would suck in Scott's world, because I am an upside down guy. I tell people, I'm like, we're not going to be done today until I flip. So that's kind of how we decide at the end of the day. Well, he finally did it. We're good. Let's go home. But back to earlier. So we were with Yamaha doing some really fun stuff, and major props to Yamaha, because I still love those guys. They have got some really cool people.
Can you say that one more time on the feed for me again? Major props to who?
Yamaha?
That's right, Justin. Other
Yamaha fan wishes he owned the fastest, best YXZ, but we just give him crap the whole time for wanting to.
Well,
you guys are kindred spirits, maybe.
Yeah, no.
I would go with that.
Hey Chase, you know what? There's always a place for you in fourth. Always a place for you, buddy.
As long as I get the drive.
Yeah, you do. And so anyway, we were with Yamaha. Then there was the whole Rhino thing that came out. You couldn't watch an infomercial without going, were you injured on a Rhino? Call douches are us attorneys. So anyway, Polaris, right before that happened, a good buddy of mine, Craig Scanlon, he came down to see me, and he's like, I didn't know him at the time. He says, we'd like you to do some stuff with Polaris. I was like, man, I'm honored. I mean, it's like, holy cow, we're nobodies from Louisiana. I mean, we're literally nobody, at least in my head. And he's like, well, this is what we want to do, and you're who we selected for a mud area of Polaris, and if you say no, we're not doing mud. And I was like, man, that's pretty high pressure sales pitch, but we're with Yamaha. And then about that time, the Rhino stuff came around, and they had to reevaluate what they had going on, because we had a race team for Yamaha, and it was amazing. And so they decided they wanted to shut that down. So I called Craig back. It's like 4 weeks later, and I said, "Hey, dude, awesome changes." And we've just been best friends and partners ever since.
Craig's a super cool dude. I've met him many times.
He's not super cool at all. He is aggravating and obnoxious and high maintenance, but we still love him.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
But I have met him quite a few times. He's been awesome to me.
Yeah.
But I bet you in business, and he's going to get right to the point.
Yeah.
That much I can see.
Yeah, I love Craig. We were supposed to. That was one of our trips. We were supposed to go to his house, and we weren't able to make it. So I'm pretty upset about that. But he's a good dude.
You guys have been with Polaris forever. I mean, basically.
Yeah.
And many Highlifter additions. Was the Highlifter addition vehicle with Polaris, was that their idea or your idea?
It was me and Craig on a late night ride, riding through the swamps of Texas. We're out, we're riding, we're having a good time, and Craig's like, man, what y'all do to these things is unbelievable, because he's a West guy, you know, he goes fast and does all that stuff. And you know, that night, literally, we're in a RZR, we're riding, in the cab is up to our chest, and a damn snake swims through the RZR, and he's like, oh my God, and he's like trying to climb out, and the snake goes away, and he's like, this is the greatest night ever. I've never had this much fun. We need to do a High Lifter Edition RZR, and that's how I got started. And it took a number of years after that to actually get it going, but that was the start of it.
Was that a success for you guys? I mean, obviously from a marketing standpoint, that'd be pretty badass, but earlier I was telling you I'd be worried about losing sales because people are buying something that have all your parts on it, and now you're not selling anything to them. So could that be a double-edged sword, or did it work out?
Worked out great. Worked out amazing. So when it actually came to fruition, we started producing these things, or Polaris started producing these things, we worked really, really close with them. And so the parts on the High Lifter Edition RZR are like the best foundation you could ask for a mud unit, right? But it's not exactly what we do. The good news is you can take a High Lifter Edition Ranger RZR Sportsman and you can just pound on it until you just can't stand it. But there's still room for improvement, you know, because it's still OE. There's all the constraints that they have and whatnot. And so a lot of times, you know, the guy buys a High Lifter Edition, the first thing he does is call us and he changes out their suspension to ours. Even though it's similar, it's still not quite the same, you know.
So they're still your customer instantly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or they want to go from the 29 5-inch tires to 33-inch tires, you know, so they call us. And so it's been wonderful. And I just can't say enough good things about our relationship with them.
Do you
it's
have
been
more
fun.
Do you have more High Lifter Editions in the future as well?
So probably. I don't know. They don't tell me. I don't know. I'm the last to know everything.
Maybe that's a good thing too.
Yeah.
Matt, you got a question?
That was actually the question there.
Yeah.
We had someone wanting to know if an XP Turbo High Lifter Edition or even a Pro XP High Lifter Edition was in the works.
Oh, everybody
You
wants
know, those are great questions, and I wish they told me.
Yeah.
So the best thing that I can tell you is call your dealers and tell them you want it. That's my answer. Call your dealers, tell them you want it, and we would love to release that. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
So I'm going to translate what you just said into, he probably knows exactly what's happening, but he cannot tell your ass, so don't ask.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, you seem, well, I already know this, but you're a pretty cool dude, so I don't think you're going to take offense to any of these. How about some quick rapid fire questions? So don't think about it.
Hell yeah. It's not possible. Look, I'm a redheaded stepchild. You cannot offend me. Yeah.
You've been through the ringer.
I've been through the ringer. I've been asked a lot of stuff. I got a feeling you're going to throw some new stuff at me that I hadn't heard.
Probably not.
Yeah.
How about an easy one?
Okay.
Redneck or hillbilly?
Redneck.
Boom.
Now that was quick.
Yeah.
Which one's offensive? Either one? We had a discussion with Hubert about this.
I'm not offended by any of that.
Yeah, well, we had
But I'm way too far south for hillbilly, because I'm not sure if our viewers are aware, but Louisiana is like flat. Like, we have the highest elevation in Louisiana is like 170 something feet above sea level. Maybe it's a little more than that, but it's pretty flat.
No hill at all. How about cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Beer or wine?
Beer.
I know the answer to that one. We just had one. If it was liquor, which liquor?
Tito's.
Maybe a little screwdrivers or a martini or something along those lines? No.
All the above.
Okay.
All the above.
Shot.
I'm guessing super spicy, lots of olives.
Super spicy, lots of olives. Yeah, you can't have too many olives.
I know the answer to this too, but ride fast or ride slow?
Both. Both. So look, mud riding is slow.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not slow riding down like cool trails. That's hauling ass, but at home in the mud, it's slow.
Favorite event?
The
UTV event.
Easy. The High Lifter Shriners ride in Shreveport, Louisiana. Look, I'm going to do a plug for this because you brought it up.
Yep.
So every year out at our off-road park in Shreveport, Louisiana, we have a ride for the Shriners Hospital. Every single penny that comes in goes to the Shriners Hospital. Not one single penny is taken out for anything. All the expenses are donated, and industry partners participate. We'll be calling Shock Therapy this year to participate.
We're there.
Yeah, and so here's what we do. We give 18-wheelers full of toys. We give money for the hospital. It's the greatest ever. Look, they help kids with every kind of medical thing you can think of, and it's free. And my passion is giving back to them. Hands down, my favorite event. It's no pressure. Everybody has fun. There's no drama. And it's just a badass day.
How many pounds of mud have you seen on a UTV the most ever?
I can tell you that I've seen vehicles with 6 and 8 inch lift kits have negative axle angle when they came in. Seriously.
That's gotta be 600 or 700 pounds minimum.
No, it's
more.
got to be over 800, because our seats, the seats alone will absorb enough water. Each seat will weigh upwards of 85 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts.
How about crawfish or crawdads?
Crawfish.
Which one's which? But are they fish really?
You know, crawdads is probably maybe a northern thing.
Okay.
I don't know, but we eat crawfish.
Hillbillies.
Yeah, they're probably hillbillies.
Okay.
Hillbillies probably munching on some crawdads.
But you like the West Coast at the moment, so is it mud or dirt?
God, right now it's dirt, but I'm a mud guy, and the beauty of my current position in life is I get to do both. I'm the luckiest sumbitch out there right now. I mean, I get to do both.
We're going to touch on your vacation plans here in just a little bit.
Yes.
Skinnerd or Alabama?
God.
Found one he couldn't do it.
Is that a trick question?
It is.
Yeah. Probably No, it'd be Skinnerd.
All right.
It'd be Skinnerd.
All right, that's enough of those for now. Mitch, you got one?
Yeah, Triple Digit Skets wants to know, will you guys ever get into cages?
We've played with cages, but we're so far away physically, geographically from where most of the cages are sold that it's just been hard for us to ship and not have them get beat up and scratched up. So we've done some cages, but it really just didn't work for us.
So speaking of cages, do you have any new parts that are coming out that you want to try and release a little hint of? Or do you have new parts that you can't talk about?
We don't have anything. We don't got a damn thing. We're just out. We have no new products. We got 16 guys over there, and they're not doing anything.
Right.
Yeah, no.
I think you got Matt. I was like, what?
Yeah. No, we've got some really cool stuff. So there's some really fun, exciting portal applications. So it'll be the same portals with a lot more fitments. And we have 2 badass products coming, and there's no way that I would give you a hint because they would literally fry my ass back at the shop.
They fit on a UTV?
Yes.
I got something. I got something out of you. All right.
Yes.
Actually, I'm asking for a friend,
Yeah.
but he wants to know, do you have to wait 30 minutes after eating to go riding in the mud?
Negative. Negative.
He also asked, again, that's just asking for a friend here, why don't you just drive around mud?
What would be the point of that? Like, seriously. I mean, when we ride, so my Ranger, the windshield on it is probably, let's see, the top of my windshield, it's a half windshield, is about right here. Mm-hmm. And seriously, if I don't go over the windshield at least once, I'm not going home.
Mud to that height, 6 feet
Well,
of mud.
it's mud at the bottom, water on the top.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Well, that was my first Mud Nationals.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot. Number one, you guys can throw a party, so thank you.
Rachel Smith, my wife, who is running Mud Nationals, can straight up throw a party.
No doubt, that's for sure. But I learned a lot, and one of the coolest things was how the riding is. Everybody is so into it that you get going through the mud, and that's not the funnest part. The real fun and party starts as soon as somebody breaks something.
Oh my God!
And then it's just a party for everybody to come over there and get that thing fixed and out of there.
Oh yeah, so the guy's riding along, he's just doing his thing, he's having his cold drink, boom, blows the axle. It's like, hell yeah! Boom! all the coolers open up, and this poor bastard's out there trying to fix his axle with 30 people pointing directions at how to help, and it gets fun really quick. It does.
Yeah, I saw that, and it's definitely it's like a religion almost. It's something you get into and you can't get it out.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Kind of like mud stains.
Yeah, or skid marks.
Yeah.
So one of the neat things that Rachel and I learned is, so whether we're at Glamis riding the dunes or we're riding out in the desert, you know, around Wickenburg or mud riding, it's the same thing. Ride a little while, have a cold drink, shoot the crap, ride a little while, or maybe, you know, you ride shorter. It's the same thing for mud riding. We just have different obstacles. You either got sand, you got desert, you got rocks, you got mud. It's all the exact same, and it's the same people each time.
So you've had a little bit more freedom to run around the country and go to different events.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why you're coming through town now.
Yeah.
Not only riding, but hitting different events. With that extra time on your hands, where's some of the places that you haven't been, if there are any, that you're going to hit? And I imagine when you go there, you're just going to dream up more parts to make for that area that you hadn't seen.
Yeah, that's been one of the most fun things about coming out west is we get to experience this stuff, and so it adds to our product line. It enhances the stuff we're already making for mud, but it also tweaks it for, you know, how can we build stuff to work out here. It's been a lot of fun. So, but Rachel and I want to go to Oregon, we want to go to Washington, we want to go to Idaho. You know, those are some places out west we want to go. Montana's on our list. Rachel loves bears, and apparently Montana is straight up full of bears. So if you're from Montana, we may come see you before long. I don't know. That's on the list.
Red
Matt.
Lodge, Montana. Beautiful.
Matt, you got a question?
I have a personal question. So I went to your event in Tyler when you guys had it there.
Yeah.
And went recently to the Arkansas.
Yeah.
The mud is completely different in those two locations. It was that red mud down in Tyler, and then you had that really thick, nasty stuff in
Like
Arkansas.
clay.
Yeah. Mud is not mud the world over. There is every kind of mud you can imagine, and people that aren't familiar with mud, especially the red clay mud and some of the acids in there, they literally panic when they see the mud dry and start to come off their tires. It's solid blue. It leaches out, it turns blue, and they're like, my stuff, something's wrong with my stuff. It's like, no, that's just how it is. But there's a lot of different kinds of mud, and some of it just turns to cement. I mean, I can tell you, I've washed my Ranger, my Razor, and had to have a screwdriver there to chip it out while I'm washing it. So it's not all the same.
One of the coolest things I saw at the last event was you can get a pass for the weekend, pay your $150, whatever it is, and it's unlimited mud cleaning with pressure washers. You just pull your UTV up in front of these guys and they go for it, clean everything off.
A power washer is an absolute must for mud riding, and you know, if I was a guest at Mud Nationals, I guarantee you I'd get the week pass, because that guy will just wash it over and over and over and over, and you got to, because your radiators and everything else, you know, overheat.
So do you have anything coming up that you'd like to tell everybody about or promote? That's an excuse for a plug if you got another one for an event.
We've got an event in Minnesota at ERX, right outside the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. We're going to have freestyle, we're going to have mud races, we're going to have mud grudges, we're going to have concerts, we're going to have parties, we're going to have a mud bog area with a swimming hole. I'm telling you what, this off-road rally is going to be the pinnacle of what we've ever done in Minnesota. We've been in Minnesota for quite a few years. This will be the first time at ERX. Get online, check it out, come see us. Come see me, come see Rachel when you get up there, and say hi. We love meeting new people. And it's going to be a get down about get downs, and it's going to be in early June sometime. I don't know the exact date. Maybe the second week of June. It's online.
Matt's got you.
It's the 9th through the 12th.
And Matt knows because he's going to be there.
Sweet. The 9th through the 12th.
Yep. What's
So's Mitch.
All right, Matt and Mitch are going to be there.
Yep.
I'm not riding with Matt because he's going to try to flip before me. I don't want my day to end too quick.
What's a good phone number and email for the shop? Everybody wants to call over there and get some parts.
Not your cell number.
Well, you don't have to know it. It's okay. We'll get it.
1-800, let's do this one. 318-524-2270.
Don't hand out your cell. I've done that.
No. That's not my cell.
3 times on our sheets.
Yeah, no. 318-524-2270. We got an 800 number you'll have to Google because I just don't remember it.
Perfect. Get them online for any parts that you guys might want.
Absolutely. Or you can go to highlifter.com. You can shop there. If you got questions, give us a call. You can order direct. And we got lots of cool stuff.
So I've experienced it. I've been to the event or an event. I've seen the shop. I've seen the family of people that you guys have over there working. It really is a family atmosphere. Excellent run company. If you guys have any need for any of the parts, please contact them for that. And I'm just really excited that you were in town and we could talk about it. Thank you very much for sitting down.
Thank you for having me.
That's awesome.
Wait.
Very cool.
We're gonna go fly in a helicopter now.
Let's do it. Second you're signing off, we're out of this parking lot. Appreciate
Yeah.
We have Mike Doves. Mud bugs or tacos before we let you go.
Mud bugs.
There you go.
Come on. That was an easy one. Thanks, Mike.
Right. Chase.
Hey.
I mean,
I would say Steve, but we have him here.
He's on?
We got him, Steve.
Steve, sign us out, buddy.
How are you feeling first, Steve?
My smackle hurts.
His smeckle hurts.
Sorry about your smack there, Steve, but sign us out, bud.
Alright, well, if you guys are looking to buy anything off the website, please visit www.shocktherapyusa.com or call into the shop at 623-217-4959.
All right, Steve, take care of that schmeckle. All right, guys, we'll see you on Thursday.